All right, welcome back to the Fantasy Tippler. We are on week 2, and after this past week, man, it was a disaster for me. It was like all the preseason games shoved into week 1, and we got a couple of things wrong. I'll tell you what. So in the glass on the rocks right now this week is it's a staple favorite, Weller Green Label, as I call it, or Weller Special Reserve, Tier 1, delicious. I needed something basic as we get back to figuring out what the hell's going on. A lot to talk about today. All right, here we go. The rant. So, screw Kerryon Johnson. Like, I am done with him. He's like that bad ex-girlfriend. Like, he's broken my heart enough, and I'm just, I mean, you got passed up by an old man running back named Adrian Peterson. Which, by the way, I've always been an Adrian Peterson fan. He took me to the playoffs last year on a team that accidentally got auto drafted, which is another story that you'll hear about some other day. So if you're scraping the bottom of the barrel for the waiver pickup today, might as well throw out Adrian Peterson. So lots of other disappointing games from players like that you drafted pretty high. Ingram, Chubb, Beckham, Drew Brees. Those guys, it's just, like I said, it's all the preseason wrapped up into week 1. Like, the old players got to knock off the ruck. The young players have to figure out where they are in the offense. So I'm a hold on a lot of these people that really performed under expectations. I have to take a drink after you think about all the players that performed horribly. But relax, it's just week 1. I'm holding a lot of these guys, except for Kerryon. Fuck you, you're gone. You're just so gone. You and Marlon Mack. I mean, there was a reason why people wait until the 9th round to draft you. You're gone. All right, so I have this in my notes after watching football this week. I think it's the one thing that really stuck out to me. Well, Tampa Bay's defense looked really good. Some people have said it as improvement, but not to this level. I mean, they pretty much shut down New Orleans Saints, high-powered offense. So one of the things I have, they're playing the Carolina Panthers, and DJ Moore is one of what is in a lot of my leagues, and I'm actually like benching him just because I don't think him and Teddy Bridgewater have that rapport yet. The Tampa Bay defense at least the secondary is really good. And I have some options. Like in one lead, I'm just going to do this just because I like taking risky plays. I'm starting Deontay Johnson over DJ Moore. And we'll see if I have to, eat toad next week. And I'll try to do a truth series on a lot of these picks today. So we'll see what happens. All right. So let's talk streaming options. These are the players that you can throw out there if you have a ton of injuries, like I do, or you drafted really bad, which I did more in the lead. I was drinking too much. So, these are my top 10 kind of like streaming flex options based on the availability that they would be on the waiver wire. So, number 1, if you didn't jump on it, you probably missed him. Was Scotty Miller. I am excited about that dude. I had no notes on him in the preseason, but you watch that game, and he is just Tom Brady's element. And I like getting blow up players before they really blow up, and I think he's gonna have a pretty decent season where he's the possibility he could crawl into the top 25. So I'm gonna go ahead and stash him, and I'm actually starting him this week against the Carolina non-existent defense. Fuck it. Let's do it. Scotty Miller's in a lot of my DFC lineups as well. So, Scotty Miller all the way. And by the way, a lot of people, some experts are saying if Godwin starts or plays in the game, go ahead and bench Scotty Miller. I'm starting Scotty Miller regardless of Mike Goodwin's injury outcome. So, next on my list is Emmanuel Sanders. I went to SMU. I love all SMU players. I really do. Even you, Trey Quinn. I haven't forgotten about you. Emmanuel Sanders, because Mike Thomas should be benched this week, absolutely across the board. And that goes to you too, Sean Payton. Do not let Michael Thomas start. It's a high ankle sprain. Just relax. I mean, that's bad. Because if it's a really serious high ankle sprain, like the history shows that the players never really recover from it. But even if he miraculously gets healthy enough to play, he's just gonna re-injure it. Just give him a week, man. Just let him sit down. Don't fuck. I mean, I took Michael Thomas in a lot of leagues in the first round because he was the only wide receiver I was willing to draft first round. So Emmanuel Sanders, I'm throwing him out there. He's in a lot of my flex because I picked him up off of Waiver Wire before the start of the season, and I'm not regretting it. And if you drafted him very, very late. So, and he's a proven talent. He's a vet. So we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely streaming Emmanuel Sanders from San Francisco 49ers, who are becoming like the Philadelphia Eagles of last year. Like, they just can't keep people healthy. I think they need to fire whoever's on their freaking, strength and conditioning, athletic training team. Like, something's going on there. So Brandon Ayuk is supposed to debut this season. A lot of people, I'm definitely for sure, if he's on your waiver wire, just grab him and stash him. But I'm feeling comfortable enough because if George Kittle's out, there's no one there to pass to, and it's a plus matchup. So basically, Brandon Ayuk and Jordan Reed are the two, top guys on that offense that does have to pass. So I'm willing to throw them out there in my flex position if, like I said, you're really desperate. Let's just say you drafted A.J. Brown and Kenny Galladay. You've got some problem. So next is Latavius Murray. It's the same thing with the Saints. I think, Alvin Kamara is a smash start. I mean, I actually may go back and change some of my DFS lineup now that I think about it. Alvin Kamara is just going to get some of those unused targets. And I like the matchup. The Vegas, Monday Night Football does scare me versus the Las Vegas Raiders. But I'm all in. So one of my streaming options, if you're really desperate, Latavius Murray, I think he's going to be utilized a lot. I think he's going to have, he's up there with Kareem Hunt, who had a great Thursday night game. And I'm willing to put him in, I've got him in one of my flex, where I'm desperate, and we'll see what happens. So next, Logan Thomas. I would go ahead and pick this guy up. This guy looked good, and he's apparently a Dwayne Haskins favorite. So, and I'll give you a great example. I had Blake Jarwin and Mike Gesicki, in a lot of leagues. And obviously Blake Jarwin went down because someone looked at him the wrong way. And, now I've got, just Gesicki from Miami Dolphins. But that's a really tough matchup against Buffalo. And so, Logan Thomas was a big pickup. I'm going ahead and I'm starting Logan Thomas over Gesicki. I'm also starting Chris Herndon over Gesicki in a lot of leagues. So I just don't like the matchup. I just think I was really, really big on him in the offseason. I didn't like what I saw in week one. I'm not ready to get rid of him yet because I think it's going to be like a mid-late season, solid tight end like he was last year. But I'm definitely sending in my backup for this week. So next, Tre'Quan Smith, once again, back to New Orleans Saints. He's a third-year wide receiver. Like Sean Payton has been speaking highly of him. He's developing. If he's going to break out at all this season, he's on a lot of waiver wires too. This would be the week to do it. And I'll be honest, with the exception of my dynasty lead, if I don't see anything from Tre'Quan Smith this week, he's getting cut next week. Just because it gets the rare opportunity to do it. The only thing that would stop me if they do play Michael Thomas, and that just eats away his target. So, but I'm willing. I do have him in two leagues where he's in my number 2 flex box. That they're very, very deep lead. Next, Malcolm Brown, probably one of the hottest things people went out there. A lot of fantasy experts were like, oh well, they just went with the hot hand. Well, he's the hot hand. and they have a great matchup in Dallas this week, and I'm willing to throw him out there. Especially if you spent your fab dollars on him, then do it. I mean, Cam Akers is not ready to go yet. Darnell Henderson, cut him. Henderson's gone. Like, he should just sit on the waiver wire next to AP. So, James Robinson from Jacksonville, I like him this week. If you manage to get him and you're hoping you can throw him out there. Corey Davis is. I hate him so much. Like, I really hate him. It's just he's from a long line of disappointments. But because AJ Brown is out, the matchup and the fact that he did get 7 receptions and 110 yards last week makes me okay to put him in my flex. I won't do it. I hate him. Like he will never break my heart again. But if you need it and he's there, absolutely, why not? But then we'll talk about Adam Humphries, who I've actually picked up in a couple of leagues later. So last thing, I want to always throw out like one streaming quarterback, Minshew. He's just Big Ben. If he was on the waiver wire, Matthew Stafford, of course, those are my top 3. But Minshew, it's like in a lot of leagues, he's available. If you're hurting, you can definitely throw him out. It's a weird matchup, but I think he's going to put up, some points in garbage time. Speaking of garbage time, if you're crazy, and for 1 week only, I will recommend Mitch Trubisky from the Chicago Bears, because he will probably get 3 touchdowns in garbage time and help you win your DFS at least. So those are my 2 quarterbacks. Defense streaming, because I stream defense all the time. You should always stream defense based on matchup, based on talent. Once we get into later in the season, you'll probably have, I'll start narrowing it down. I don't really change my defense after that. So this week, LA Rams, I think this is going to run over this Philadelphia Eagle line. I think it's going to trash. I think there's going to be a bunch of stacks. I really like this lineup. So next is New Orleans. I think they're a great run defense. I think they're going to be able to hold back the superpower Josh Jacobs and get a couple of interceptions too, which are a pretty strong secondary. It's Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football always makes me uneasy. So we'll see where we're at with that. Tennessee is the streaming option that I picked up with the leads that I had. I started with the Chargers, and I did great that week. I've dropped them for Tennessee, and I'm plugging in Tennessee this week, hoping that they'll get at least 11 points. And then I noticed it in my research today, right before I started the podcast. Kansas City, it has either been dropped or is still on a lot of waiver wires. I would grab them if they're there. I mean, you could plug them in almost every week for the next couple of weeks. So, if they're there, grab them. Kickers. All right. Kickers. Like this week, I picked up in a lot of leagues, Mason Crosby. I love the potential field goal shootout with Detroit Lions, and I think they're going to do well. I think he's going to get over 10 points. So I've got him in. And then Arizona Cardinals kicker, Zane Gonzalez. I like him just based on the matchup, and he's pretty consistent sometimes. So he's available like everywhere. So those 2 I'm very, very happy about. So, a little drinking break. Speaking of which, have any of you guys ever tried the Weller Single Bell that's out? I haven't been able to find it in the market, of course not, but like Weller Single Bell has not gotten good reviews lately. Now, Weller Foolproof, I hunt down, and I've got a couple bottles, and it's delicious. Weller Single Bell, something to think about. Anyway, moving on. All right, waiver stats. If you have room, like some people are still dumb enough to put 7 bench spots on the fantasy football team. A lot of the competitive leagues I'm in, we only have 5, which keep the waiver wire fresh, and I like it. So, Benny Snell, I've drafted him a lot of places because I'm smart. But there were a couple of leagues where I wanted to wait and see what week 1 looked like, and it It looks exactly like I was. James Conner, big old question mark. In fact, in one of my leagues, I have James Conner and Benny Snell, and I'm benching both of them just for this week against Denver. Since I don't like the Mile High Stadium. I don't like what I need to see what's going on with Connor before I make a decision about Benny. I just need more information. But I'm stashing Benny when he's available because something's going to happen with this team. So, Pittsburgh is going to run the ball, so I'm definitely grabbing Benny Snell. Next is Joshua Kelly. Joshua Kelly's looked good, and he's become the clear number 2 behind Austin Eckler. So if you have Austin Eckler, and this is the year for handcuffs and backup, and if you don't have enough running back, I would go ahead and stash it. There's a lot of running backs that I would stash, above him. But if you're desperate, not even, I would stash him over Tolin Potter right now. I really would. But Zeke Elliott's not going down. Like, that guy is just a perfect specimen of a running back. So I would take Joshua Kelly right now over Tony Pollard, depending on what your waiver wire is. So Adam Humphrey. I'm a big fan of Adam Humphrey. Like, he had a bad year last year, but the year before he was just a darling, waiver wire streaming wide receiver. And I think with the opportunity of A.J. Brown being gone, I am starting him with one lead, my dynasty lead, just because I grabbed him. And I was like, why not? Because I have too many injuries. So, and I'm actually starting him over Tre'Quan Smith, in a couple of leagues. So, I definitely think you should grab him just in case he blows out. Because if he blows up, Corey Davis is going to look bad. And it's going to be the A.J. Brown, Adam Humphries show, which I thought it may be last year, but he was interrupted for injuries. So, and this won't be like a long hold. I think we'll know pretty soon, like this week, whether or not you'll be able to keep him next week. But I recommend him for a waiver stats. Last, O.J. Howard is really flexing his muscle. Rob Gronkowski. I hope you didn't draft him. Some freaking knuckleheads in the fantasy football world were saying that they have him at his number 10. No. But O.J. Howard is on a lot of waiver wires. If you need a tight end, I don't mind grabbing him and playing him this week. I really don't. But I'm definitely watching him. I've already got 2 tight ends on most of my fantasy football leagues, and I'm pretty happy. But O.J. Howard is definitely on my watch list for all of them. So, well, that's all I have for today. It's just going to be a quick one. We got the website being developed because of the brand new fantasy football podcast. I'm developing it as I go. The cool thing we're going to have on the website as it comes is we're going to have, instead of a ranking thing, if you're listening to enough fantasy football podcasts, you don't need a ranking. Rankings are bad. What we're going to have is like my personal opinion of should you start them, should you sit them, should you cut them, are you fading off of them? And then, they just kind of give you a benchmark for how you set your teams every week. Hopefully that will come about very soon. It's been a long time we've been working on it. Also coming up, we're going to start doing some giveaways pretty soon. We're still looking at some prizes. And hopefully we'll have some guests on, too, from the bourbon world. So if you are interested in more content, please follow me on YouTube and on Twitter and Instagram at This Guy Drinks. And thank you so much for listening, and we will talk later. Cheers, bubs.